in the Pacific. My question is largely directed at the prosecutor, and it's really a practical question about how this policy is going to affect and change the ways in which the office deals with requests for preliminary investigation where information is brought to light that might suggest crimes against or affecting children, particularly maybe about their environment, their natural environment, and other crimes that are going to continue to impact their lives as they grow up and get older. Children, particularly maybe about their environment, their natural environment.
Well, thank you very much. And I think, unfortunately, I'm really sorry we don't have enough time for more intervention. And I think it's a very good way to conclude, because that's looking forward and looking at different other aspects. So I'll give the last word to the prosecutor to answer on his vision on this point, and then we'll pass on to.
Well, I'm really doubly grateful because it's a wonderful question, but it gives me the opportunity to make sure the last word goes to somebody that supervises the gender crimes unit, the crimes against and affecting children. That is our fantastic deputy prosecutor, Nazat Shamim Khan. So I think the last word should go to somebody who hasn't taken the floor yet, but has done so much to make this possible. So, deputy prosecutor.
Brief, but the question is such an important one, and that is about really the role of the office in relation to ensuring that we hear the voices of children, and especially in the context of environmental crime, which I have to say that the office is currently developing a policy about. I see that there is a very important role in that policy in ensuring that we reflect the need to hear voices of children in that policy. So it's a wonderful question, and I really am grateful that it was asked. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, all. And thank you one more time. We keep thanking each other, but it's really important because we've had fantastic speakers, wonderful states leading on this issue, and obviously a prosecutor and a whole team that has been incredibly supportive. Let's really hope that this represents a critical step toward acknowledging the wrongs children are suffering in armed conflict on a daily basis, can also help breaking some of the cycle of violence, and help Sally and other in the young generation rebuild peaceful societies based on the rule of law. So it's my honor now to, in order to conclude, to pass the floor to Georgina Guillem Grillo, Director General of Foreign Policy at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Costa Rica. Thank you for wrapping up and closing for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Excellencies, Mr. Prosecutor, Madam Deputy Prosecutor, dear speakers, and esteemed delegate. For Costa Rica, it is a huge honor to co-host this important event. In most countries, there are children living in exceptionally difficult circumstances in all our countries. But in the context of violent conflicts, the vulnerability of children is exacerbated. They are the ones that suffer most of the consequences of such conflicts, with long-lasting physical and psychological effects. Since the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, as we have heard, the UN has proclaimed that childhood is entitled to special care and assistance, and with the adoption of the Convention on the Rights of the Child, it was recognized that children should be afforded the necessary protection, and the principle of the best interest of the child as a primary consideration was established. So the prosecutor's children policy is an example of the implementation of said principle of the best interest of the child in the dire situations as victims or survivors of the worst crimes. Costa Rica commends the efforts to renew the policy on children to fully recognize their dignity through a comprehensive and participatory process. I would like to thank Prosecutor Khan for his leadership and also for the presentation of the policy, and to the panelists for their remarks and contributions and inspiration too. Together with Japan, Slovenia, and the Kingdom of the Netherlands as co-sponsors, and on behalf of the Office of the Prosecutors, we are very grateful for your attendance and participation in today's event. We are confident that this renewed policy on children will be a significant milestone in our collective commitment to safeguard the rights of children affected by and victims of the worst crimes. and bring about a commitment to engage with children and make sure their voices are heard and taken into account. There will not be complete justice until and unless we fully include child victims and survivors in every stage of the process. I thank you. Have a good afternoon.
We're going to have the moral clarity here. This president has had moral clarity on that, and so we're going to continue to be steadfast.
Consideration willing to meet with Republicans and have a meeting with them about that particular bill to make his case for why he thinks that that should pass.
I mean, look, it's been almost 3 years. It's a comprehensive bill.
I mean, look,
It's
been almost 3 years.
Lawmakers on the Hill, they know how to read a bill, right? They know how to look at the bill and pull from the bill what they accept and what they don't accept, right? And we did that on the day one, and have had multiple conversations from our side here, Leg Affairs Office, with members of Congress. This is something, can you imagine the first thing that this president does as putting forward a piece of legislation is on immigration, a comprehensive piece of legislation? That shows, if anything, that should show how committed he is to that issue. And what we keep hearing from Republicans is either they use immigration as a political stunt, or they try to make cuts, right? Or they vote against what the president is trying to put forward, right? Or they say we want to take away 2,000 CBP agents. I mean, that's what, if you look at HR 2, that's basically what it's saying. It's extreme. It's extreme. So we have a comprehensive plan, and they put forth a plan that is extreme.
If he's committed to it, would he be willing to meet with them? And if not, why not?
I mean, you're missing the point here. The point is the president put forth a comprehensive plan on day one, almost 3 years ago. Almost. And what they do instead is put forth extreme bills that does nothing to fix the broken system. That's the point.
Thanks, Green. Eric Adams is on the Hill today meeting with lawmakers to talk about the migrant crisis. Is he meeting with anyone at the White House?
I don't have any meetings to read out about Eric Adams meeting with anyone here. I would have to check in. I don't have anything for you here.
Has there been any sort of progress or dialogue with mayors as they try and accommodate the influx of migrants?
I mean, look, we have been committed, have certainly put forth resources for mayors to deal with the influx of migrants. We have had multiple conversations. Our IGA office has been in close contact. There's been in-person meetings in states, in cities, wanting to make sure that we hear their concerns, and we've provided assistance. We have provided assistance, and so that's going to continue, right? That's going to continue. And so that's why we're asking Congress for more. We're asking Congress to help us in trying to deal with this broken system that has been broken for decades. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Go ahead.
Senator Joe Manchin, who has openly left open the possibility of an independent run for president next year, has been heavily critical of the administration's rollout of the clean energy tax credits enacted as part of the Inflation Reduction Act. And last week he also spoke against the Treasury and DOE's interpretation of foreign entities of concern that are a key component of eligibility for the tax credits. I want to know if the administration had a response to this. Has the president spoken to Manchin recently? And what did you make of his comments?
So I'll say this: I can't speak to the senator's potential or not potential run. That's something that he has to speak to for himself. Certainly nothing that I can speak to from here. What I can say is that we have had a very good working relationship with Senator Manchin. We appreciate his partnership. We could not have gotten the Inflation Reduction Act done without him, obviously, but just not going to get into anything else specifically. Obviously, this is an issue that is important to the president when it comes to climate change, when it comes to clean energy. These are issues that the president has led on. He has had the most aggressive climate change agenda. When he walked in, he said climate change was one of the 4 crises that we've had to deal with, and that's what you've seen him do. You've seen him act on that. All right, thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend, and some of you I'll see you on tomorrow. Right? Vegas.